First of all, the name on this one is so bad that I refuse to pronounce it in any way that isn't detrimental, so I'll excuse myself from ever saying it here. I am certain that they could have gone with a much better sound-related name, but I guess that's enough of a hint to the type of Chinese nonsense the game is crammed with. While I do have some grievances that might be hard to fix by this point, it's better if I preface it with the disclaimer that despite the state that the game was released in, I really like what I played so far. But as people probably want to hear what's wrong with it first, let's start with the biggest and most worrisome aspect of the game. I wasn't aware that the game received a last-minute story rewrite until I came across the community's reaction to the official release, but that actually explains a lot in hindsight. The reason why it happened is not of my interest, but I can't possibly ignore the overall quality of the writing, which is somehow worse than all of its direct competitors by a large margin. I have played Fate Grand Order for years because I genuinely enjoy the story and all of its surrounding aspects, but I finally dropped it in the Olympus arc, cause god fucking damn it, all of the writers in gachas must be paid by the word amount. I am fully aware that they need to do this so that players can speedrun new content in the same day of release and then complain for months that there is nothing to do, but at least write something interesting. I just couldn't take any more of the classic, "Oh no, pause the story because monsters are here and we need to fight them now. But don't worry, senpai, I got your back. Haha, this is going to be easy. This is a chance to try out my new fighting ability." Does the evil lord really think this is enough to stop us? Shut the fuck up already! I get it! It's time for the gameplay now! I disconnected as soon as I read the first line because I know for a fact that nothing of worth is going to be said from that point onward. So why even write all of that extra fluff? All of this is even more aggravating because they finally added the skip button that has been coveted in Genshin since its release, but for some reason it doesn't work for every cutscene. Plus, they still have certain scenes where you already read the text, but can't skip to the next one because the characters are still doing their animations. I am sorry that I read relatively fast, and that the usual set of random animations doesn't hold my interest, so just let me read at my own pace. Listen, I don't re-roll accounts, cause that's not my style, but I had to replay the beginning for video making reasons, and I pity the fools that had to go through that like several times, because you can't skip anything substantial there, and it takes like an hour for each attempt. Although, one of the last patches added the skip button to more cutscenes, so I wonder how much are they willing to bend down to player demands. It is really weird how everyone is right on your dick from minute 1. It felt like I was missing several hours of context for somewhere else, which I wouldn't be surprised, as multimedia projects for these things are pretty common. But no, it was just the story rewrite that caused this, as they overcorrected from a sensible plot structure to something that would better accommodate to the harem aspect. And it's not even that which bothers me, cause I was expecting it from the beginning. It's the amount of Chinese they poured into this whole game. If they wanted to make a game for their own territory, sure, that's fine, but as something that seems to be going for a global appeal, it might not have been the best choice. It was a terrible idea to put not China as the first city, as Western players will be trying to understand the core concepts of the world, and they are going to get showered with a bunch of similar looking names and terms. These are all explained in such a convoluted way that I honestly already lost the plot thread despite the story being just Genshin all over again. Look at this fucking sentence. What the fuck are you even saying, woman? The least you can do to make all of this more tolerable is to go to your settings and change the voiceover language to anything but English. Otherwise you won't make it to the first hour. Okay, but praise where it's due. The moment when the first bad guy is trying to do some cringe exposition and you can just skip the entire thing and throw ends instantly is pretty good. I hope they continue that sort of choice in the future. Plus, when you get to the part where the money was spent, things get pretty cool. It's just to get there, you have to waddle through several layers of long-winded text. If the writing is so bad, and it's just a prevalent aspect of the game, why should you even play this? Well, if you need a reason, here's two even. Oh! Oh lord, the absolute diameter on these women. Thank you, Mr. Dong, for blessing us with this gift.
哎呀，我真的很喜欢胸部，我操，超级喜欢的。
While the designs might be the usual over-designed gacha bullshit, I can't possibly refuse someone who finally went ahead and did good on the sex appeal part. Who thought it was possible in 2024 to not only have great cleavage, but also some supplementary side boob.
Oh, yeah.
Even both protagonists look good, with the male counterpart looking pretty slick, with its streamlined design that straddles between modern and sci-fi, while still keeping it practical, while the girl is really well endowed. But it's not just women that are hot, as the combat system here rocks pretty hard. Should probably mention that I never played Honkai Impact or Punishing Grey Raven, so I'm not aware on how much the combat system was taken from them, but I had to say that this is pretty darn good. It's not even because it's trying to be complex, but the possible exchange between player and enemy is served with such an impact that makes it all worth it to play in favor of its competitors. This was easily achieved by simply putting a parry system. I don't need to go into details of what makes a good parry, but the visuals and sounds are extremely important, and they are quick to show you that they know what they're doing here. Add an active dodge to that, which not only looks cool, it also gives you an extra split second to think on your following approach, and it's impressive how much more enjoyable the combat gets in comparison to other games. Oh shit, look at that smooth criminal over there! Oh man, imagine if they put a taunt button in the future, that would be nuts. While in Genshin, the big bosses are mostly damage checks with modern MMO mechanics that get old real quick. While here, I got to a point where I was having so much fun that I was trying to learn the fight by only using one character because of how cool it all looked. I do realize that Genshin is not trying to have combat as its main focus, but it's disappointing how besides specific character skills, it's not much different from the initial release. Even dodging feels awful because you don't have any feedback if you do it correctly, besides looking at your health bar to see if you took damage. They even tried the parry mechanic in a previous event, and that was pretty fun, but they never used it for anything else. It's always extra numbers with region-specific reactions, or mechanics that don't add anything to the overworld experience, or the endgame abyss. While the parry and dodging add a significant feel to the combat, there are also other systems like the intro and outro skills that activate when switching between characters, which are not just a difference in numbers, but also accompanied by a following animation. Something that also really adds to the feeling of intense combat is when switching characters mid-attack, they momentarily stay on field for the rest of their movement, instead of instantly disappearing. And that is not all, as the entire game's gimmick is how you can collect the monsters that you fight, which function as your equipment, plus allowing you to use one extra skill that depends on what monsters you equip. You can go full bear mode, Angry Sekiro monkey with a stick, or other ridiculous shit like Ghost Rider! Oh shit, you can ride the bike, that's awesome! You know what's also a great game? Prototype. You think I got excited to buy an upgrade because it makes my punches do 5% more damage? Fuck no! It's because I can now elbow drop a tank from the top of a building. Too bad they never made a sequel to that. I think this is obvious by now, but moving a character in any action game should be fun by itself, giving several options to interact and traverse the world, and contrary to Genshin, it shouldn't be locked to multiple exclusive characters, especially when there is so much verticality to explore. You also don't use stamina when normally running, so you're not forced to constantly slow down your pace. Here, not only you can run up any wall, they even give you a little grappling hook to boost yourself further, and what is cool is that you can even integrate it into the combat itself, instead of being limited for exploring purposes. Who knew that the Chinese would allow fun in the current year? And good for them. This has been a rough official launch, but hey, you know what that means for a gacha. Apology premium currency. Although the guaranteed rates seem to be much better than Genshin, I'm not sure how the soft pity works and how much premium currency will be available for free, so I'll keep myself cautiously optimistic regarding that. The bottom line is that the story is mediocre, the tits are awesome and the action is cool. Will this get better or quickly stagnate into the end of service? I can't say for sure, but I'll be sticking along for the ride. I'm not aware of the state of evolution on their previous game, but I like to believe they'll keep trying to make it good. And even if they fail, this sort of competition is good for everyone, so that the big names on the top don't just rest on their laurels and also try to keep up with the quality that their players often demand. Now we wait to see if the Big Z is also worth the wait. It looks cool, but let's hope that they don't change the tits any further.